everyone, and welcome back to Everything in Racing. As you can see again, I don't have Ernie with me again. We're not making this a regular thing, but,
seems like you are making it a regular thing.
Cameron said he did not want to have to look at Ernie. He couldn't keep a straight face the entire time. So
that's because we joke around so much, man.
Yeah, so we did what we had to do. But we've got Camron, Braxton, and Blaney. I didn't get your last name before we started. Taylor. And I believe this is your grandson.
Yes.
Right here.
Yes.
Alrighty.
Don't tell everybody.
Yeah, from
Well, I appreciate that, Pops.
from Warlock Racing. So
yeah.
Welcome aboard, gentlemen.
Appreciate you having us.
Yeah. So I'm just going to start this with the same question we start with everybody. What got you guys into this world of horrible financial decisions?
Well, to start off with, my dad, you had him here before.
Mm-hmm. I didn't title that episode, so people didn't know ahead of time.
Okay. Well,
so, just snuck that in there a little bit.
Okay. Well, anyway, growing up, he raced, and he was racing at the same time. Well, it was about, 2011?
Yeah.
That's when you wrecked? He got into a bad accident. I think it was in New Bern, wasn't it?
No, it was in Rockingham.
Oh, okay. It was in Rockingham. He hit the wall, and the docs told him any more jar from the car it's going to hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
So back in 2011 is when he got out of it, and at that time I was diehard into baseball. Well, when COVID hit at school and everything, baseball kind of died away, and that's when I started going to racetracks more and everything. And then my granddaddy Thurman, my dad's dad, he gave me a 1972 Plymouth Scamp. Obviously, because I've raced. You've raced against it.
I know that car. I've seen it in front of my car a couple times.
Yep. He asked me if I wanted to take it for a spin down the street, and I said yeah. So we took it down the street, and he asked me if I wanted to race it. I said yeah. So from that point on, I've been racing since.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, he put me in that car when I was 15. I started racing it right when I got my license.
Nice.
So I've only been racing for 4 years now.
That's about right.
Yeah, 4 years.
Okay. You're a little younger than I thought you were.
I get that a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to take it as a compliment or an insult.
Well, I don't think your math is quite right there, because if you've been racing since you were 15.
Well, I've been racing since I was 16. He put me in the car on the street at 15.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. And that was right around COVID?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so but you're
because COVID happened when I was a junior, and I turned 16 going into my junior year.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
Sadly.
Yeah. So, I guess where you and I really where I met you was that first season 252 I did, where we did the 590.
The
index.
daily driver, yes.
Yeah, daily driver 590 index.
That was the first race was at Fayetteville, I believe.
That was a cluster.
Yeah, well, they didn't consider that a 252 race, but
it was a 28's Gone Wild / 252.
It was supposed to be 28's Gone Wild versus 252.
Yeah.
But I don't think it ended up like that.
Yeah.
Not 100% sure how it ended, because we got points for the 252 program.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure how that worked, but that was a crappy night. I think my final pass was at 5 o'clock in the morning?
It was early in the morning.
Yeah, it was early. I mean, when we left the track to head home, the sun was coming out.
Yeah, and I nearly got in a fight with your mama that night.
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, because we were doing pulling cards, right?
Yes.
And I think if you had the spade, you got the lane choice, right? So I chose.
I don't remember back then.
Whatever
whatever
the card was. Yeah, whatever the card was that you got lane choice, I got that card against you. I'd gotten past first round because I got that Dodge Demon first round, which was hilarious because we all loved racing that Dodge Demon. We're like, oh man, this guy's great and slow.
Easy win. We ain't got to do a lot of pedaling.
Look, I didn't at that point. I didn't have much to brag about. I was running a consistent 630 in a 590 bracket.
Well, to be fair, I wasn't running 590s at the time either. So
whatever
don't
you
feel
were
bad.
running was faster than me.
It was. Let's see, the 590 right around then. That's when I was going about 615s is the most I was doing at the time.
Yeah, 615, 620.
Yeah, because it was that following years when we started stepping up the game with it.
Yeah.
Well, during that year, actually.
Yeah, during that year. I mean, we all kind of stepped up that year, but yeah, I got lane choice, and your mom kept coming up to me. What lane are you in? I'm like, I'm going left lane, and she's like, oh, okay. She comes back in. Hey, we're gonna go left lane. I was like, no, I have lane choice, and she's like, oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
and like 10 minutes later, oh, we're gonna go left lane. I'm like, no, I have lane choice.
She forgets a lot.
Yeah.
We try to work with her on that. Try to get her to calm down.
Yeah, I think she was just trying to see if I'd change.
Yeah,
my
well,
mind.
I think the main reason behind that was because I've been in the left lane the whole entire time.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I tested in the left because we got 2 shakedowns.
We got 1 shakedown.
Yeah, I did my shakedown in the left lane, first round in the left lane. Then I think I drew you second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, because second round, that's when Justin and Logan ran against each other.
Yeah, and Justin got knocked out by Logan.
Because he gave him the hit.
From
that point on, he did not get that man to hit no more. He wouldn't give anybody the hit anymore.
But in grudge racing, I understand giving somebody the hit, right? But in competition racing, no. Well, when there's points on the line.
I think the reason why he gave him the hit was because, Logan's daddy kept digging into him that they're foot braking. They don't have a trans brake.
Yeah.
So I think Justin was just like, screw it, I don't care, I'll give you the hit.
Yeah.
Thinking that he was gonna run him down.
Yeah. Justin Taylor, if you ever see this, I'd love to get you on the podcast. I need to send you a DM or something. Get on here so we can talk crap to you in person. It
might break your phone just like I'm doing right now.
Yeah. But yeah, so we went from Fayetteville, and then the next race was in.
Was it Roxborough?
It was Roxborough.
So.
Yeah, where it was.
Well, I think before the next race there was he had a no prep race in Roxborough before the next 252 race.
Yeah, I didn't go to that one.
I went to that. That was an interesting night. Matter of fact, I can show you the video because I still have it on my phone. My first pass down a no prep with that blue car. We had a hot tune-up in it, and when I got to the other end, you could see this man's face in the video, him grinning from ear to ear, just laughing as hard as he can because I was pedaling the car. It was getting sideways left and right on me. But that was the best. That was one of the best videos I ever seen.
When did you ever not have a hot tune-up in that? I remember you coming to me being like, I got these broken rocker arms. I'm out today. that was in Jacksonville. I'm like, it's a 590 car. Why are you breaking rocker arms?
Well, okay, so that car, the way the heads were on it, the springs on it were so big that you had to trim the rockers down to almost pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
In order to get them to fit. Like, 'cause there were steel ones on it. And the only ones we could get in a reasonable amount of time to make it to the next race were aluminum ones. So we got the aluminum ones, and they were like that thick. I mean, they were thick. And he took them into the gun shop that he's got because he does a gun business.
Nice.
He's got a lathe in there, and he shaved them down, and we got them up there. And luckily, I still kept all the old rockers instead of throwing them away. I put them in the trailer because at the Keene race, I broke 2.
I know you broke 1. I
know I broke 1 for sure on Friday because I think there was just a test and tune or we had some type of small grudge racing.
It was I think your dad puts together like a 28,
something like that. But I had broke it.
The entire day was testing.
Yeah, I broke it that day because when I got back to the 330 and it hit high gear, it just and I was just like, damn.
We were all fighting. We had all made mistakes that day.
Yeah, so I pulled it back. I just shut the car off and coasted to the end. And I fired it up. You couldn't hear nothing. As soon as you give it throttle, boy, it sounded like something was jumping out the motor. That's what it sounded like. So we didn't have nothing to pull us back with, so I had to limp it there. Yeah. I had to put it in gear and just let it coast. When it didn't stop moving, just tap the throttle to get it a little boost to get back to the trailer.
Yeah. Luckily, Galot's pretty flat.
Yeah, luckily it is.
Actually, speaking of Roxborough, you towed me back to my trailer because my shifter linkage came apart going down the track. I think it was against you. That
was when you racing against me. Yes, your shifter linker broke, and then I got back to the trailer, got the full wheeler, come back and pulled you back. Yes.
Yeah, but I can't remember if you had a problem and I got ahead of you there or something. For me, it was a great pass. I was like, this is great, and then I drove it all the way to the shack, right? Because I usually just leave it in gear, and then whenever I stop, I put it in neutral.
Yeah.
And so I get there, go to put it in neutral, and nothing happens. It's like, oh,
yeah,
shit.
I remember because I was behind you.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, you taking forever. And I said, screw this, and just went around you.
Yeah.
Got back to the pits, and all of a sudden people were saying that you were broke. You were broke. So I got the full wheel, and I went down there with a strap and pulled you back. And that was the funniest thing, too. When I got back to the trailer after pulling you back, they said, damn, you had to break that man's car at the same time. I said, look, it wasn't my fault.
Yeah.
I was like, he was grabbing gears trying to catch up.
Yeah, where the shifter connects to the side of the Turbo 400, you got those two like nuts that hold it on.
Yeah.
Those just backed off all the way and just dropped off. So we got two lock washers,
That
two lock washers on
sounds
there.
about some stuff that happened to us because last night we were putting the NRO bar back on the car, and I noticed that there was some fluid coming off the caliper. I was like, what the hell is this coming from? And the bolts to hold the hub against the axle, the two bottom bolts were loose. And they got lock washers on them. I was like, oh, well, what the hell? And normally I check the car from everything, but I didn't think about checking anything on the rear end because I didn't put the rear end together.
It's all lock washers. I didn't
think about checking anything on the rear end because I didn't put it together. I trusted who put it together. I ain't calling no names out because they run a business.
Just understand he doesn't trust you anymore.
Yeah. Not 100% true. I still trust them.
Well, that comes from them 150, 60 foots you got.
150?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You being generous, I was going to say 2 seconds.
Just as a reminder to all of our viewers that don't regularly watch drag racing, every single drag racer is a liar.
Even the one that just said that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I have a friend, I'm helping him on his car, and he's a bigger grudge racer. He's got a S550 Mustang like mine. Okay. Right? But he's very secretive. Like, he doesn't even open the hood when he's at the track. Right? If he can avoid it.
If he can avoid it.
If he can avoid it.
That sounds like you. When you work on your car, you put it in the trailer and close all the doors so nobody can see what you were doing.
Well, yeah. It's I'll get on that in a second. I know.
Called out.
I know what you're referring to. But every time, like, since I've started helping him on his car, I've had guys just coming out of the woodwork being like, "Oh, you're helping Birch with his car. You're okay. What's he got under the hood?" And every single time I give them a different combination. I'll be like, oh, he's got a Hemi with a screw blower on top of it, and they're like, oh, okay. I'm like, even though there's no screw blower coming out of the hood, and it's like, oh, it's a big block Chevy with a Pro Charger.
That's those people, you can tell they don't know what in the world you're talking about.
They have no idea.
They don't know what a screw blower is, and they should know. That's not what he's got.
Yeah. So what you were referring to there when we were doing the testing for the King race that day.
Yep.
The night before we had done a nuts and bolts check on the car, just gone through everything to check everything. And I need to back up a little bit more. We were running that 630, and the car was consistent. It would run a 630 every single time, But when I'm running against guys that can cut a really good light and be consistent at like a 590 or a 6.0, you just don't stand a chance, right? So we're like, okay, we need to put nitrous on the car. We need to get another 100 horsepower or so to get over that hump, and then. Of course, as you know, doing a blower nitrous setup, it's going to make the air cooler going into the blower. You make a little bit more boost. It just helps the car all together. It was only like a 50 shot we put on it. Picked up like...
So he says.
It was. But it picked up like 100 and something going through the blower.
100 some what, mile an hour?
I wish. But when we... put it all back together, for some reason my guy Frey put the nitrous and the fuel jet backwards. Right? So the nitrous was trying to spray out of our now I'm trying to remember how you're supposed to have it. You're supposed to have more nitrous than fuel, right? Because we're just doing a fogger nozzle.
Yeah.
So he had it the opposite way around. It was more fuel than nitrous. So every time we let go, it just bogged the motor down because it was just spraying way too much fuel in there. But so the reason we pulled it into the trailer, though, is I'd hidden the entire system because it wasn't against the rules, right? But
why'd you hide it?
because I wanted to bug the Pittmans. 100%. Because you remember, right? I was at the Jacksonville race. That's the first race that we had the nitrous on the car.
And they busted the radiator. Yes, I remember
busted the radiator. But I beat Logan by...
Because that was the same day that I broke...
Your rocker arms?
I broke my rocker arms. Matter of fact, because we coming back...
the track.
No, it wasn't a Jeep. It was my mom's Dodge Durango. Yeah. But what it was is before that race event, me and my dad went out to Vegas for a Street Outlaw event.
Yep.
And we had the blue car there.
Yep.
Ever since we brought the car back from there, I've been fighting the car.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday, we kept running lower ETs no matter what we done to the car.
Mm-hmm.
No matter whether we changed jet size or changed this, changed that, it just kept getting slower and slower. But, normally if you break something like that, you can hear it knocking. You couldn't hear this one knocking.
Mm.
You couldn't hear it at all. So we didn't know what was wrong. And after we got done testing Friday, Saturday comes around, and I decided to put new plugs in the car. Well, I pulled the number... I'm trying to remember how the plug are on that Mopar.
I think they run 2468 and 1357.
Make sure you talk into the mic.
Gotcha. I'm talking to Cameron.
Yeah, I know.
I can't remember exactly how the cylinders go, but I was pulling the plug out, and it looked like a brand new plug that you just put in there, like it ain't been firing at all.
Yeah.
I was like, oh hell, something ain't right here. So I started grabbing tools and I pulled the valve cover off. I got all the bolts out of the valve cover. As soon as I picked it up, I heard something go clink. And I was like, what the hell? And I pulled the valve cover slam off, and you can just see the bottom side of the rocker just sitting there. But the top side was gone. It was underneath. Exactly. I was like, well, this sucks. I said, because other than my granddaddy, I'm the only one here with a Mopar motor. And I was like, yep, I'm done for today because ain't nobody don't have any. Yeah. If we were in Kinston, that would have been a different story. Because, when I first, all right, so when, this is going to back up a little while. When I first got into racing, this was when Chris Herring owned the 252.
Yep.
And I was at the Keene race. I've been running all year with him. I had no chance in hell. Mm-hmm. But I've been running all year with him. Well, I would go down Friday, and we're making some test passes. And I think it was smoking real bad out the back end. I can't remember, but something told us to look over the motor. And we had some broke rockers. Mm. So we get new rockers from Chris Herring. He goes to his house, he gets rockers, and then we come back. We put it all in. Well, we go to bump the motor over, and two of the rockers won't move in at all. Well, actually, no, 4 of them. I got one piston and then scarred another one. Mm. So that was the first time. That was my first year of racing. I was sitting there thinking, great. Now I feel bad because it ain't my car. It was my granddaddy's.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't have a job.
Yeah.
I was working on it,
yeah,
but I was still in school. So I felt bad because, it come down to him having to fix it.
Yeah.
And we had a plan. We had another motor being built for it, and we were going to put that in there, and that way I could be more competitive.
Yeah.
Well, then it got to the point where Granddaddy wanted to drive the Dodge Demon that he had at the time. Mm-hmm. And instead, he put the motor that we had built for the blue car, and he put it in the Demon, and he started running it. Totally fine.
Yep.
Because we still had the other motor built, and I was still running. I really didn't care.
Well, at the end of the day, it's his money and his choice. At the
end of the day, it's his money, his choice, and everything. All the vehicles on his side of the family are his. Mm-hmm. All the truck, the Demon, the blue car, they were all his.
Yeah.
Because he was driving the truck, my dad was driving the Demon, I was driving the blue car at the time. And then when my dad took over the 252, it got to the point where Granddaddy was driving the truck and the Demon. But like I was saying, that car has been nothing but rocker issues from day one.
Mm-hmm. Did we ever figure out why it was rocker issues from day one, or
like I said, having to trim so much off of them?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, in order to keep up with y'all, I was spraying a good bit on that car.
Oh, I know you were spraying a good bit.
I had to keep up with y'all.
What you guys really needed to do was advertise, Braxton Performance or something on the bottom of it, because every time you let go of that, front end came up, did a nice wheelie.
That's after I replaced the rockers when I broke it in Jacksonville. That's when it started popping the wheelies. After I figured out the spinning problem, because after I fixed it, I could tell when we first got the car back out after I fixed it, I went to do a burnout and I could feel the car, if it just felt different from after. It felt like its normal self, because after we took it to Vegas, it always felt wrong.
Yeah.
Something didn't feel right in the car, didn't feel like it was 100%. But we could never figure it out until after we took the valve cover off.
It's like an oil pressure gauge. If you don't have one, there's no problem.
Exactly.
Because you just don't know.
Exactly.
Right?
That's just like the last time we took Warlock out, we were in Jacksonville for Brawls for All, and Mass Traction was there prepping. My last pass on the car, it stood up more than what it did the first time. And I feathered it, and it popped. Because when I was feathering it, it was dumping fuel in the carburetor, and it just shot it through the exhaust. And when it popped, I got the car down, and I looked down for a split second, and I got a big old LED red light there. If that's on, I got no oil pressure. Mm-hmm. Well, I didn't see that on, so I stabbed it again. But it went on down, so he was probably mad at me, but I wasn't going to let that wagon beat me. So.
Yeah, so that first season, you got second, right behind Justin.
Yeah. Couldn't get behind him. And I was surprised I stayed in second because, I broke at Jacksonville, and that put me a whole race day behind.
Yeah. And I started catching up. And,
and I had to keep it just it was a fight.
It was a fight, but you got it. And honestly, that last race, I probably should have called you out, or I should have called out Logan.
Yeah, I remember that. You talking about the King race at Galot?
Yeah,
you wanted.
I wanted you to pull Justin, so one of you guys knocked each other out.
You kept wanting me to pull Justin, and then it ended up Chip draw coming around, and guess who drew him?
Yeah, my guy. I told Frey, I was like, "Don't pull Justin out of there." He goes, "I'm good," and he reaches in there, pulls Justin right out.
Yep, because everybody kept coming to me saying Nate wants you to call out Justin. Nate wants you to call out Justin. I said, "Well, I ain't doing that." I said, "That's stupid." I said, "I'm fighting for second place in points right now. I ain't doing that."
Yeah. Well,
and
going into that last race, all Justin had to do was make it past first round, and he had the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
secured. He was so far ahead.
But it was proven that day that he can be beat.
Yeah.
Because Wayne beat him in the finals.
Yeah.
Because Wayne put me out in the semis.
That dude can cut a killer light.
Well, that's the thing about that. His first pass, because I seen his time slips. His first pass, he was a 0.35 on the tree. Mm-hmm. And then he raced, because I think we were short people that day. I think it was, because we only had 3 rounds, I believe.
Yeah, I think it was 3 rounds. Because I went out round 1 against Justin.
I think because I had Al first round, and then I had Wayne second round.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was only 3 rounds.
Yeah, and Logan got knocked out first round, I think by Wayne.
Yeah, by Wayne. So that's what. Yeah, so he had a.
And the Dodge Demon didn't show up for that race.
Yep, he had a 0.35 light on his first round against Logan. When he raced against me, he had a 0.15 light. Mm. And then I saw when he raced against Justin, he had a 0.05. Yeah. So either he had some trickery stuff going on in there, or that was his day for cutting the light.
I was about to say we're not accusing him of cheating, but
no, we're not going to accuse him of cheating, but
yeah. Well, technically, I don't think there was anything specifically in the rules that you weren't allowed to have a delay box or anything like that.
Yeah, but that
it's not in the spirit of the rules, but yeah.
But you have to be dead on point on when to let go of that. If you have a delay box on your trans brake, because we run Pro Tree.
Yep.
So you have to be dead on point.
Yeah.
And you have to know which one that the track runs.
I told you what I did against Justin, right, in that first round. Well,
No.
so I did a 090 on the tree. He did an 075 on the tree.
Mm-hmm.
We went through the traps at the exact same ET.
I remember that because, matter of fact,
and
that was the same thing with Wayne in their run. They went through the traps at the same exact number.
Yeah, like down to like the thousandths of a number.
Mm-hmm.
Our mile an hour were within like 2 mile an hour of each other. And he beat me by exactly what he left me on the tree. And I was like, oh, come on.
But like I said, Justin, he knew his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he'd been a bracket racer, heck, his whole life, I think.
Yeah.
Because I know he had a dragster at one point, and then he had that car there.
Yeah. Has he done any racing the last 2 years? Or
no? From what I've heard, there's a guy with an S10 truck.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be turbo, and he wants Justin to drive it. They just got to get the truck finished. But that's what I've heard.
Yeah. Well,
I tried to get him to bring the Camaro back out.
I'd tell you that Camaro is pretty.
Oh yeah, it's pretty and it's fast. I mean, I know.
Yeah.
Because he was detuning the method. You could tell in the videos that he was leaving on motor. And then the nitrous would come in, and then he would just top in us.
Yeah.
And I tried to get him to bring the Camaro out last year and just turn it up.
Yeah.
But they wouldn't do it.
Yeah. No, whenever I get emotional damage back together and done, I want to try and get a race up against him.
Oh, yes, Justin. I thought you were about to call me out. I was about to say, bring it on.
I don't have to worry about you right now. You're doing so many wheelies. All right, so
what's that mean now? You saying
let's get on to Warlock here. What's the story of Warlock?
So, 2 years ago when I bought that car?
Yeah, been probably about 2.5 years.
2.5 years now. So before I bought the car, I was running the blue car.
Mm-hmm.
The whole time running the blue car, we had it pretty much maxed out, and I knew eventually I was gonna want to go faster. So I figured, while I run the blue car, I'll build another car. So I was strolling through Facebook Marketplace, dangerous app by the way.
Yeah,
don't go on it.
I love Facebook Marketplace.
It's dangerous.
I should have that as a sponsor sticker on the back of mine, just Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, because that's where a lot of stuff comes from.
Yeah.
That's on mine.
Yeah.
But I was on Facebook Marketplace, and I was talking to him. I was like, should we build another Mopar, or do you want to go back? Do you want to build a Ford? Because that's what he's always ran and built and everything. And he said, well, if you want me to help you with it, it don't need to be a Mustang. I said, okay, sounds good to me. So I was strolling through Facebook Marketplace, and I found this 89 Fox Body Mustang coupe. And I hit the guy up. I went up there and looked at it, and I bought it. Brought it home that night. Well, no, I went back there the next day with my buddy. We loaded the car up, brought it home that night, and that was when the time changed.
Mm-hmm.
So we were out there tearing the car apart, taking everything off of it, the front end, back end, everything. We were cutting stuff out, taking doors off left and right. And next thing I know, I looked down at my phone. It was 3 o'clock. So, okay, we good. We start working. We get the rear end out. We get some other. So I can't remember exactly what we cut out at the time. But after we got all that done, I looked back down at my phone. It still said 3 o'clock. I was like, damn, I don't know what time it is, but we've been out here for a long time. He won't know where to be. He was in bed sleeping. Mm-hmm. Matter of fact, he called me one time. He said, if you bring that impact gun back out, I'm going to whoop your ass. Because I was waking him up. But that car, it's been a good one. Me and him built it from ground up in our little barn.
So what power plant have we gone with in it? Or are we not saying?
I ain't scared to say it. It's a 351.
Okay, 351.
It's 351 Windsor.
And a decent shot of nitrous on it.
It's got 2 decent shots of nitrous.
All right.
But I only run one.
I was about to say, I think a lot of your problems would be solved if you went to boost instead of nitrous.
Now you'll never see. If I go to boost, that'll be the day I die.
Oh man.
And I'll already be dead.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah, we need you around for a little while.
Yes. If he weren't around, I wouldn't know what to do around here.
Yeah.
Because he's been by my side from day one I was born.
Yeah.
Yep.
He never left.
There you go.
He stuck with me forever.
So where'd the name Warlock come from?
So that's an interesting story. I didn't drive it here, but my daily driver truck that I used to pull the trailer with. When we first bought that car, all I had was a 2000 Dodge Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
What I was pulling the blue car with was his 97 Ram. And I said, well, I know we're going to end up pulling the enclosed. And that truck pulled his car that he had back in the day perfectly fine. But I said, well, it's getting to the point, it's getting old. So I'm gonna need to get a truck to pull it with. So I had a 2000 Dodge Dakota and I had a 2015 Dodge Dart.
Mm-hmm.
I sold both of those and took that money and went and got a 2019 Ram 1500.
Yeah, hold on just a minute. It was getting where when he used my truck that I knew how long he would probably have the truck. And if my phone rung and it come up Camron Braxton, I said, oh no, it's tore up again.
Because look, the story behind that.
I'm not answering that.
No, literally, it was the craziest thing, dude. That truck, when I started driving it, I drove it like if it wasn't mine. If it was mine, I'd beat the hell out of it.
So he says.
Look, putting a skid steer behind it is no worse than you putting that 24-footer in it.
Well, wait a minute. You were tearing your granddaddy's truck up too. Your other granddaddy's truck.
Okay, yeah. So
let's tell the real story.
Is it like driving a rental car with the optional insurance?
Yeah. So what happened was my buddy. Matter of fact, it's the same buddy that went with me to pick the car up. Mm-hmm. He asked me to help him with a job that he was doing. He was doing landscaping, but his truck couldn't pull the skid steer. So I went and got granddaddy's truck, his dually, to pull the skid steer. And I was driving down the road 60 miles an hour, and all of a sudden it quit pulling. What happened was the input shaft in there snapped in half. Mm. And there wasn't nothing on the trailer. I had the trailer behind me, but I was on the way to get the skid steer. And I was driving, and all of a sudden I was on the throttle. I come off of it because the car in front of me was slowing down. I come off, hit the brake. I go to get back on the throttle, and it was just revving up. I said, what the hell? Because there wasn't no popping, wasn't nothing. It just kept building. Yep. And I pulled off, and they come got it. We got his truck and hooked up to the trailer, and I go down to get the skid steer. I get all the way down there, and the man told me that he couldn't let us use the skid steer because the truck wasn't rated to pull it. I said, man, you crazy? I said, I pulled heavier shit than that skid steer with this truck before. But that 97, no matter what I done with it, no matter how soft I drove it, something always broke. We were on the way to Kinston one time. Matter of fact, it was for the Keen race, I believe, wasn't it?
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was the Keen race that was in Kinston. Mm. And I had the car on the trailer. I was driving. Granddaddy Thurman was behind me in the RV. We're sitting at the stoplight on 11. Every time I come to a dead stop, I even look down at the gauges when I'm driving. When I come to a dead stop, I look at the gauges. Everything was perfectly normal. The light turns green. I come off the brake, just tap the throttle, and it looked like I was purging nitrous out the front of that truck. Just smoke everywhere. So we're on the side of the road running back and forth from the RV with a pot of water to put on the radiator to cool the motor off so I could get it over off the road into a parking lot. That was, matter of fact, that was when I first started racing.
Yeah.
Because that was the same day that the pistons went bad in the car. I said, man, I just ain't having a good day.
That's really, I'm done.
Yep, I'm done.
I'm going home.
That following year, we were still racing at Kinston, even when Daddy was running it. Me and my buddy, same buddy, he rides with me from New Bern after I got off work. We drive down to Kinston. Everything's working perfectly fine. I go to get into Kinston, right there on 70. You come up to the first stoplight, and the stoplight turns red. And I'm good a mile from it. So I come off the throttle, just start coasting, let the truck idle down, slowing me down. Mm-hmm. Well, I go to hit the brake. Brake pedal hits the floor. I said, this is some shit. So I'm over here laying. Luckily, there was nobody in front of me. Yeah. I'm over here laying on the horns, letting people know, hey, get out my way. I'm coming through. There was no way to stop the truck and trailer. Because it's not like my new truck where I can just activate the trailer brakes.
Yeah, activate the
I
trailer
have
brakes.
to hit my brake pedal on that truck to activate the trailer brakes.
Yeah.
So if I hit the trailer brake, truck ain't doing nothing. Trailer, the brakes on that thing was shot. So after we fixed the truck, that's when I got to looking at the trailer, and I put all new brakes and everything on the trailer. But moral to the story, every time I drove that 97, it just something went bad on it. Recently, a couple months ago, I was driving it and come back, and the exhaust tip on the back of it was just dangling. But I don't think that was my fault, really. I think that's more the truck's fault. Because that truck,
while you were driving,
yes, it happened while I was driving it. So yes, it's my fault. But that truck, ever since he put the airbags on it, you hit a little bump, and it's like that truck's gonna throw you in the ceiling. It's gonna throw you that. Will it not?
If you hit a railroad track, you gonna know it.
You might have a little bit too much air in the airbags. There,
no, that's with none.
Yeah, that's none.
There's no airbags. It's worse if you have air in it with the trailer on the back. It's worse. I mean, that truck, it was just, you do not want to drive it over the New Bern Bridge. I'll just put it to you that way. It was bad.
Yeah, I've been looking at least adding bags to the back of my truck just to level stuff out.
Well, that's what I got on. I got on the airbags on the back of my truck.
Yeah.
But back to the Warlock story.
Yeah. So where's Warlock come from?
So when we went to get my truck that I pulled the trailer with, when we were doing the paperwork, it come up as a 2019 Ram Classic Warlock edition. So that's what I was sitting, because we were sitting there trying to figure out a name for the car. And when I got that truck, I was like, Warlock, that don't sound bad.
Yeah.
So that's where the name comes from.
That's like a wizard or something, right?
It can be multiple different things. Obviously, you can see right here, that's the design that we had made for it. But as you can see, people, when they make posters and stuff about the car, every person puts a different Warlock on it.
Oh yeah, I mean there's all sorts of different.
There's all sorts of different ones. So at this point, it's just any Warlock you desire. I mean, heck, the design on the side of the car now is, hell, it don't even look like that right there. It's different.
Yeah, it looks like an old man wizard throwing a fireball.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah, which I mean, a couple people have asked about this. You guys even asked about this table. This table used to be a D&D table. You know. So yeah, I know all about warlocks and magic. And,
but that's just like, you were asking about how it come along. That car, it's got more old stuff on it than it does new.
Yeah.
Like there's parts under the hood that come off of his old car, like the fuel cell, the overflow tanks, stuff like that come off of his old car. Because when he sold it back in 2018, I believe it was.
Yeah, it was.
I believe it was 2018 because a family member, Henry Dale, he's the one that bought it. When he switched everything over to turbo, that's when we went up there and picked up a bunch of stuff. So, which unfortunately, the wing that come off his old car, we couldn't use it because his was a hatchback. That was a coupe.
Yeah.
But like the hood that's on the car come off his old car, the overflow tanks, the fuel cell. There's a few other parts that come off his old car that's up there. That car it's got a little bit of everything. I mean, by far everybody says it's a nice piece, but it's ragged out. I mean, there's stuff up there that's so old that shouldn't be up there.
The motor's been around for at least 25 years.
Oh, yeah, the motor has been around for at least 25 years.
Al Leggett run it for I don't know, a couple 3 years or so, somewhere along there, and he took it out and put an aluminum block motor in his car, and he just had it set in the shop.
And when we got that car, that's when he brought it up to us.
Yeah.
Jason Tyson told us that Al had a nice motor that he was thinking about selling, so we called Al, and Al's kind of he's a
hoarder.
When it comes to car parts. You don't get parts from him very often.
He's like my engine builder. You walk in there, it's like a maze to get through. That's like when we went to get that motor, we had to. It was a maze. We had to go up here, come back, go down here, around his car to get to the motor.
Yeah, I mean, my engine builder is the exact same way. That's why he had me bring back some of my parts to here. He's like, I don't have room. I don't want to lose it. I disassembled your old motor. Take it all away. He's like, when I'm ready for you to bring me some of these parts,
I'll let you know.
I'll let you know
That's
what
like
parts I want you to bring me.
Well,
that's like Troy.
You can ask Troy. Troy, where's so and so? It's right over there underneath that box over there, and he walked right over there and pick it right. He knows where
his stuff is.
Oh yeah,
that's just like
it's junked out in there. It's crowded, but he knows where everything's at.
Yeah, that's just like we're not really letting people know about this. But
you are now.
I am now. I really don't care at this point.
I mean, it's 41 minutes into the podcast, so
I'm pretty sure people don't stop listening.
Yeah, they stopped listening.
Yeah, they stopped listening.
Literally tens of listeners.
Yeah, but I mean, I really ain't worried about it. People think that I'm a duck to them anyway, but they just better watch out because when I get that car figured out, I'm coming for everybody's throats.
Mm-hmm.
But Troy, the heads that are on my car, like I said, the whole motor is 25 plus years old. The heads on it, they're wore out.
Yeah, we've had to replace helicores with big certs. Take the helicores out and drill it out, put big certs in it.
Them heads, they've been patched multiple times. So Troy was with us at a race event one time, and when we kept having head problems, he said, I got some brand new heads sitting around. I was like, okay.
Exact same heads.
Exact same
brand
heads.
new virgin heads.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And when I went up there, I had to, because I work at a Ford dealership.
Yeah.
I had to deliver him some parts. I went up there and he showed them to me. He pulled them out of the box, out from underneath the pile of stuff. And those heads were made back in 97, I believe, and they have yet to be on the car.
Wow.
Unfortunately, I can't put them on the car right now, because we're waiting on materials and everything to come in to have the valves and everything made for them. So, unfortunately, I have to keep patching the heads that are on the car. But, like I said, when I get that car figured out, especially keeping the front end down.
Because that's what I saw all last year. I don't know if power was an issue. It was more...
It was more chassis.
It would either blow the tires off, like, instantly, or it would do a big wheelie. And like...
Well, I never really blew the tires off, and there was not Bash talking, and there was only one track that was Kinston.
Well, yeah.
But that's more,
especially on a Thursday night.
Yeah, well, that was more of a tuner's problem. Because the converter that's in that car, I can't turn it down but so much, or it won't flash it. Yeah. I'll be past 60 foot when it finally realizes, hey, flash the converter. And at that point there, it'd be at like 50% on the nitrous. Mm-hmm. So that was more of a tuner's issue than a track issue, because if I would just throwing a random number out there, say if I put it on 15% leaving, I would be at like 100 foot out when they would finally flash it, and then it would turn me to the wall.
Yeah,
and it'd be a waste of a trip and everything. That was the only time I really kept knocking the tires off, though, because I would try to leave with enough power that it would flash the converter, but not enough where it would spin.
Yeah.
And I started getting it figured out finally there. I had to do some chassis adjustments and everything. But back to what you're talking about with it more being wheelie issues, the second race at Outer Banks. Mm-hmm. That was a terrible weekend. Unfortunately, my Uncle Billy, he died. Well, he got killed, murdered. And me and my dad were supposed to make a pass together in honor of him.
Yep.
And the guy that I was racing at the time didn't like that because it was technically, in a way, I was getting a second test pass.
Yeah.
And I said, well, dude, if you feel that way, pull up beside me. You can make a test pass with me, and then we'll turn around and do first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, because the guy that owned the car, he won't run in the car. It was somebody else driving it. Mm-hmm. He didn't care. He knew what it was about. Well, if it got to the point where I didn't make the pass at all, and for Billy, so me being me, I wanted to destroy that man. So I went and grabbed the laptop, and because I was gonna try something. So instead of trying what I was gonna do, I just turned the second stage back off, and turned the first stage up. It didn't spin, but it went up.
Yeah.
It hooked. Unfortunately, too bad. And he beat me, obviously, because when it come down, I was having a ground issue. Every time the car was slammed down, it would cut the motor off. But we got that fixed now. As you can tell, this past weekend I did 2 wheelies in a row, and it stayed running. So
proper grounding, Bo. Proper grounding.
Like, I mean, that car, it's pieced together. It's by no means it's a one of a kind piece. I love it. I enjoy it because of all the memories that I have with him building the car. I hope he enjoyed it
immensely.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, but he's saying that, but in the back of his head, he's like, "I wish that car wasn't here."
Well, don't tear it up because I'm not able to help you build another one.
Yeah. I just want to go to bed at a reasonable hour.
He'll go to bed at a reasonable hour and just tell me what to do. I'll be out there doing it.
I'll be out there working on it all day.
Because I'm at work.
Yeah, he's at work, and then he'll come get in the house about 6:30. What we going to do now, Papa? I said, I don't know what you're going to do, but I'm going in the house and go to bed.
So it kind of sucked doing it that way. When we first got the car, it was we would work on it when I come home from work, or we work on it all during the day on the weekend. When we started getting the car put together and everything, it got to the point where we couldn't really wait until weekends.
Yeah.
So I would do the little as I can, or as much as I can, really, when I get off of work, and he would work on it during the day because a lot of times on the weekends we were running somewhere, or we had a race coming up. So
I don't know. There's nothing better than you got a race on Saturday, and the engine's sitting over there on Thursday, and you're like, well, guess I got to get it done.
Somebody got to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah,
it ain't no him.
The problem is that, like, you know, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Braxton's like, oh, I got plenty of time, you know, or me, I'm like, I got plenty of time to get it done, and then Thursday rolls around, and you're like, oh, I'm down to less than 48 hours.
Not me. I may procrastinate on like a Monday, but when Tuesday and Wednesday comes around, I'm sitting there looking because I like to be at the track the day before.
Yeah.
So I'm always thinking like Thursday is my deadline. Like it's got to be in the trailer Thursday night. Yeah. So more like most time I'll procrastinate on Monday, but Tuesday and Wednesday, nah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the same thing for me as far as like having to work on it during the week because there's usually a race on a weekend. You know, most of my help I can get is on the weekends. You know, and so it's like. There's been a couple times I've missed races just because
you don't have the car together.
I don't have the car together.
That's just like last year. Unfortunately, you know, we were fighting the car all last year trying to get it figured out. So anytime we had a chance to go test, we would go test. Well, Jacksonville was having Al Boogie was putting on a race at Jacksonville, and I went out there to it to test. And we tried some things, and unfortunately, by the time on my second pass, we tried something, and I went up there, and by the time I got to make the pass, because there was a long line, the air had dropped. The temperature got better, air got better, and in the long term short, I should have put more fuel to the car, but I didn't because I was in the staging lanes, and I got about to the 330, and it sounded like the car was going to hit the rev limiter, so I backed off of it. And as soon as my foot cracked off the throttle, it popped. And matter of fact, I'll show you, I'm sure you've seen the pictures. I'll show them to you. I torched the heads pretty badly. Had to cut them, 2,000?
No, 20,000.
20,000.
Yeah. We had 2 plugs that still had a ground strap on it.
Hey, that's doing pretty good.
Yeah,
But
unfortunately.
we didn't get it quite lean enough to get all 8 of them. But
Yeah. Hey, how many pistons you have? If you still had all the pistons, you're fine.
Oh, yeah, all the pistons
It's
were good.
just spark plugs.
look, now that you mentioned pistons, I'm gonna throw a plug in here. Anybody that's building a nitrous car, turbo car, if you won't spend the money to have them pistons coated, you're crazy.
Because, going back with what he's saying, I torched the heads and everything. I only had 2 plugs that still had the strap on them. If it wasn't for them pistons being coated,
What
probably
kind
would've got
of coating are we talking here?
It's some kind of ceramic coating.
Yeah.
if Troy was here, he could definitely tell you.
Yeah.
Because he's the one, we gave him to him. When we got the motor from Al, we took everything to him. Because he's always built his motors back in the day. He's, don't get me wrong, he's good at what he does. He just if you're in a rush, you don't want to take it to him.
Oh, Fleet, my engine builder's the same way.
Well, Troy, like I said, he takes his time because he wants everything to be right.
Yep.
He's good at what he does. He's been doing it for
45 years.
45 to 50 years, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's good at what he does.
But it's my engine builder last year. I was like, when we were talking about it, because I got him to do the short block, and then we assembled it and everything. But he's like, well, when's your first race? And I was like, I don't need it done by the first race. I need it done before the first race because I need to get it in the car. He's like, well, when's your first race? And I told him when the first 252 event was. He got it done like maybe 10 days before that race. And I was
Going
like,
there with no testing.
Yeah.
That's my kind of liking.
Well, and Powerhouse was assembling it for me, doing like the heads and stuff because they were porting a set of heads for me. And
trust me, I remember that because they called me to get parts for your heads.
I wonder why they had to call you to get parts for it because they were supposed to have ordered all of them way ahead of time. But that's another story for a different day. I have a sneaking suspicion that maybe some of my parts ended up in somebody else's motor.
That I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, there was some parts for your heads that they called me about because when I was talking to them, I was like, this sounds like Nate's car.
Yeah.
Or Logan's. And
Yeah.
But with the year that they told me, I was like, this sounds like Nate's. And they're like, yeah, it is.
Well, okay, so I'm going to... Okay, we're far enough into this. Brian's probably not listening. Did you see the one with Brian and Logan on here?
Yes, I did watch it.
Okay. How many times did you ding him for lying? Like he's here and just like straight up lying to him. He goes, we just got our little stock Gen 1 little motor, and I'm like, that
motor ain't stock. That motor ain't stock.
Well, he's got Gen 2 heads on it.
Exactly.
It's
that
a Gen 1
ain't
block,
stock.
Gen 2 heads. Camshaft, pistons, rods, timing gear. Like everything's upgraded on it. The only thing that's still stock is the block itself.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like, y'all are like, you can see I just kind of like look at him when he's like, oh, we just got our little stock engine. I just like look at him. You
gotta look at him and you need to straight up look at him like, what's your definition of stock?
Yeah,
like you just got it off the showroom floor, or like you said, a stock block.
Yeah, because Snot Rocket is a stock block. It's a stock bore size and it's a stock casting. And that's it.
That's it. Everything else is not.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, my engine builder would be like, okay, this is how much time I've got. I'm going to take every second of it.
Yeah. Like I said, Troy, he's good. That man, he's helped us out and so much, and he's actually starting to come to the tracks with us. You can see out of the corner of the trailer, Troy's eating food. And we get up to the trailer and we're like, where's all the food? And just out of nowhere, he's just like, the damn dog got it. And we're over here like, what dog, Troy?
That's an ongoing joke now.
Yeah, that's an ongoing joke.
The dog got it. The dog got it.
Yeah, so he named the dog Thief.
Mm-hmm.
So this last time that we were out with the car, we went to Jacksonville. And when he pulled up there, I had a stuffed animal with a little ribbon on it, and I wrote Thief up there. I said, hey, Troy, I think I found your dog that took all your food. It's an ongoing, because him and my mom, boy, they were going back and forth about that dog. It's a trip. Like I said, if he was here, you have a good time, because he's a trip, boy. He could tell you some stories, some of them will sound like lies, but you can't really tell because a lot of times he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You can't really tell when you have to look at him and his facial expressions to see if he's lying.
Nice.
In the right pops.
Yeah, that's right.
So, what kind of events are we looking at doing this year?
Well, I'm going to run some of the 252 ones. We were going to run all of them. I don't think we're going to do that this year. I think we want to expand some more. There's some races and out of town, and they're somewhat local, like Rockingham and stuff like that. That's got some races that we want to do. I got a buddy of mine that I've done no prep with. They run at a track called Pageland.
Okay.
He wants me to come out there and run against some of the boys that he has out there because he thinks that I can do good out there. So we'll
be a good matchup.
Yeah, it'll be a good matchup. Which unfortunately I had to put the car on, which I ain't worried about it. I'll put the car on slicks. I ain't scared. I mean, I don't care
There's
if
something
I'm on
about
radials
those radials. I just love me a good set of radials.
But the thing is, with radial tires, if the weather ain't perfect or anything, or the track ain't there, you ain't gonna get down. If you got slicks on, you got a better chance of getting down the track.
Yeah, once you run a set of radials, though, you hate to take them off.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about going PDRA, running their Super Street category, but they banned twin turbo cars, and I'm like I know how much I can weight I can get my car down to, and it's still going to be about 250 pounds below the minimum weight it's allowed to be. And I was like, I don't see me being able to make enough power on a single turbo because it's a single 85 millimeter turbo on a single turbo or on a Pro Charger. I just don't I'm not gonna be able to get the car light enough. That's why I wanted that.
Never
twin
say
turbo.
never.
Yeah.
Never say never. There's some races that I've done with my car, and you would look at the other person and be like, he ain't got this.
Yeah.
And then I would pull it off.
Yeah. Well, as far as getting it light enough, I don't know. I did. The car's going to go fast, and I hated to say it, but I gave Kenny permission to cut as much out of the car as he wants to cut out, and I'm just afraid to see what happens to the bill.
Well, how much did your car weigh before you took it up there?
This year with me in the car, it weighed 3740.
Okay.
You
had a couple. You had like 100 to 200 pounds more than me with the blue car.
Yeah. Yeah. She's heavy. I mean, Donald's car weighed what? 44.
I couldn't tell you. I know it for.
I guess I've just always been more of a cautious racer. If I feel the car getting out of shape, I'm out of it. I'm like, cool, go ahead, win. I don't care.
Well, if you notice the people that wreck cars, most of the time, if they back out of it, if they will stay out, but they want to get back in it, and even if they look like they're going straight down the track through the windshield, the back end of the car may not be straight, and that's for I say 80% of them when they wreck. That's why they wreck.
Yeah. Did you see when I almost put her in the wall at Kinston that one night?
Yes, and I was just what he said. I'm guilty of getting back in it, even though I did not hit the wall, but I did get back in it.
Yeah. No, that race that we were doing a test pass out there, and she took the 60-foot hit and then just went like that straight at the wall. And
well, your problem.
It scared the crap out of me.
Your problem. I don't know. I didn't really watch you much last year. You didn't really have the car out much last year.
Well, we did.
It was more at Kinston.
It was more at Kinston than anything else.
But your problem was your burnouts.
Yeah, I don't know why she struggled this year with burnouts. It just wouldn't get as much heat in the tires.
Well, you would also start rolling before you even had any smoke coming out from under the tires.
Well, it was actually my first year using line lock.
And it just, so with my car, it's a little bit different than yours. I think it is. I don't know what style shifter and stuff you use, but for me, because I've got a line lock in my car.
Yeah.
For me, when I pull up into the burnout box, I always put my car in neutral. Because when you don't hit the line lock and then pump your brake, you pump your brake up and then press the line lock.
Yeah.
That's how I do it. I always put my car in neutral so that way it's not rolling. I'll just sit there and pump it up, press the button, and then pop it in gear. And then I'll do my burnout.
Well, we swapped her over to manual brakes this year, and hopefully that's going to help, with that. It's but yeah, I'd have my foot buried in the floor, turn on my line lock, take my foot off of it, hit it,
Would
and
you just
roll
Would you just hit your brake pedal once?
No, I'd pump it a couple times and stuff like that.
Well, you still got to stop master cylinder and everything.
Yeah,
right? You probably need to pump it up more than what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, so but that's all been swapped out now. I'm probably going to do that this year because I'm going to put, we're going to turbo. I've told everybody that, so I'm going to have trans brake and bump box there.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have line lock on my
more than likely have a oh shit button.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
That's just like us. I mean, we thought about putting a no shit button on mine.
Yeah.
To activate the second stage if I needed it, but if I ain't making it with the first shot, I mean, there ain't no point in turning the second one on if he's starting to get in front of me.
Yeah. It's the tuner I'm going to. I was talking to him about the setup and some stuff he wants me to do with the car and stuff like that. And I talked to him about putting a scramble button on there. He's like, you can put one on there. He's like, I'm not telling you I'm going to put anything on it. And I'm like, why? I'm like, if I want it, why wouldn't you put it there? He's like, because every single racer, no matter what he does, always grabs that button because it's a little bit more. and he's like, put it on there, hit it every time you want to. It's probably not going to do anything.
Well,
my problem on the computer.
My problem with a scramble button or a button to hit your second stage, if anything goes wrong and you get squirrely, chances are you're not going to think about turning that button loose. You're going to be fighting the steering wheel
with
the button mashed, and because I had 2 stages on mine way back today, and I run all off the track at Newbern, and couldn't figure out what was going on, and then I remembered I had my thumb on the button.
Because the way you had your nitro set up on your old car was it wouldn't activate till you hit the button, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, so his one on like how mine is with a progressor. His was just all in when you press the button.
You see that TCAM Ford Galaxy down at Mod Nationals that spit the guts out of it? Mm-hmm. That's because he got treed so bad by the other guy. He grabbed the scramble button before he was even out of the 60-foot.
I got a story something like that.
It was supposed to leave on 9 pounds of boost. He went from 9 pounds of boost to 60 pounds of boost.
Oh, that's too much.
In about a half a second.
Yeah, that's too much.
And it just went and just let the guts out of it.
Okay, well, I got a story kind of like that. It didn't let the guts out.
All right.
Before I started driving the blue car, Granddaddy was running it at Kinston. Because he used to dominate out there back when the 252 and everything first started. That's when people weren't really going that fast as they are now. He took the car out there one time and he was gonna make a pass. Well, we had wired a button on it to bypass the progressor. Yeah. And Granddaddy, he did his burnout. He staged. As a matter of fact, he was going up against Coleman with his old car, not the Vega, the one before, which was, what was that car again?
Chevelle, I think.
I think it was a Chevelle. Granddaddy let go of the button, and as soon as he come off the trans brake, he stabbed that button, and it went straight on the bumper. I mean, the exhaust was scraping the ground.
I've seen that big heavy or little heavy or whatever.
Oh, little heavy?
A little heavy on the parachute mount, I think twice now. Yeah. And like all 4 wheels are up off the ground, and I'm like, man, that's gotta hurt when it comes back down.
Yeah, that time we were at Hertford, and the first time he went out with it, he stood it on the bumper, and he went back and he fixed all his mess, And
we put weight on the front and then turned the progressor down.
And he went back in the second round, turned that button loose,
and it did it worse.
And it went harder. That's when he drug the parachute mount and all that kind of stuff. I thought for sure, he'd have calmed down from the first round to the second, but he was stronger the second round.
Well, that was crazy. The crazy thing is, like I said, we added weight to the front of the truck, and then we put the progressor ramped out more, and it did it worse. Yeah. I mean, it was terrible.
That was the race I got Wayne in the red Camaro. I got him first round.
What do we got here? That's the video when Granddaddy stood it up on the bumper.
Oh, okay. Scamp. Ooh.
Yeah. Like I said, he comes straight off the button and just hit that one.
It's I pulled Wayne in the red Camaro first round.
That was
the 4th gen.
Hereford, wasn't it?
That was a Hereford.
When he put it on the bumper.
Yeah, That scared me because I was in the lane next to him, just looking over. And my only thought was, please don't come down in my lane. Please don't come down in my lane.
That's just like that. Matter of fact, that same race that you're talking about with her at Hereford. Like I said, we had been fighting the car the whole time. I kept spinning the line, and I drew Wayne first round. And I looked at Wayne. I said, Wayne, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you the car is not where it needs to be. I said, you've seen I've been spinning every time I let go of the button. I mean, I've changed everything. And I told him, I'm gonna be straight up with you. I said the fastest I've gone is a 615 with spinning. And he took that. And we decided to try something a little bit different. And I believe we pulled 5 degrees of timing out of the car on the hit and ramped it back in. And it did not spin. It hooked. It threw me for a loop. I mean, I come off the accelerator because I thought it was going to jump up.
Yeah.
I come off the accelerator and stabbed it again because it surprised me. And he stayed right there with me. He was in front of me. Don't get me wrong. He was in front of me.
Oh, yeah.
But he broke out.
Yeah.
Worse than me.
Yeah.
Because I think I went a 593. He went like a 587, I believe it was.
Who'd you get second round in that race? Because I got Al second round. Because I know
I had a bye.
Oh yeah.
I had a bye.
I never got a bye all season long.
Yeah, because I remember that because it was Wayne, and then I had a bye, and I didn't change nothing. I didn't change nothing. All I did was go from the right lane to the left lane, and it spun.
Yeah.
So that's when I went up against you, third round. I was
you were
like,
back
damn.
in the left lane.
I was back in the left lane. I was like, damn, this thing's gonna spin again, and it didn't. But when it went up, it took me toward the wall.
Yeah.
So I'm running against you, staying in it up against the wall.
Yeah.
Sitting there trying to drive it, and when I seen you come, I was on the brake, and when I seen you coming, I stabbed it again, and I saw your wind light come on, and boy, I'll go ahead and tell you, if there was a camera in that car, they would have seen me punch the steering wheel.
Yeah. Oh, believe me, I was.
Granddaddy, you did not hear that.
I was howling in the car because I'd not managed to beat you all season long. I've been chasing you and everybody else.
It's always been. I think almost every race it was me and Justin in the finals, I believe.
Yeah. So I finally beat you, and I was like, I was screaming. I was like, I finally did it, you bastard. Doesn't matter if I never do it again. I did it once.
Yeah. There's one thing about it. I don't think that's like with Justin. I could never get around him. I mean, I would out 60 foot him, but he'd be right there back on me. I mean, that's just how his car was. He can get right there with you no matter what. You could tree him, but he'd get right there with you.
Yeah. I guess that for me that was the most depressing thing about the King race is that I finally hit the tree almost at the exact same time as him. We stayed right next to each other the entire time. Neither of us let off the gas the entire time. Just down the track, and I'm like, oh, I might get him. And then
but he nosed you out.
He just nosed me out, and I was like, oh.
That's like with him and Wayne.
Yeah.
Wayne just barely nosed him out, and they both ended. I think it was a 590 with a 3. They both ended with the same ET.
Well, you and Wayne had the same ET when you run him that day.
Yeah, me and Wayne had the same ET, but me and him, we were side by side. Cause see, there's one thing about it. If you treat me, even though you treat me, I still be right there with you. Like Wayne, he treated the mess out of me. Which that car, it always had a hesitant on the tree. In order for me to get better than a 50 on the light, I have to guess. I mean, I'll be straight up with you. I had to guess. And when he treed me, I let go of the button, and I saw him leave, and then my car left, and I was right there beside him again. Because that car, it's 60 foot like nothing. I mean, it's 60 foot hard. I mean, the car, I don't have the car no more, so I'll go ahead and tell you. I mean, the best 60 foot I had with it was like a 118, I believe, 120.
Man, the best I got that entire season was a 30.
That's the thing. Like Justin, every time I would run against Justin, he would have like a 130. I would have like a 120 to a 125, 60 foot. That's what that car was good about, was 60 foot. Now the big end, I had to get you at 60 foot.
Oh yeah. Well, that's again where I'd get on the Pittmans, right? Because I ran Logan at Jacksonville, That was the first time I beat him. I did
After he got the car fixed, and he went like a 70-something.
He went a 73, and I went a 93.
Yeah.
And, it's... We were given time slips with both times on it because it was time shown and everything.
Yeah.
And so after that, Brian would always be like, "Oh, the best 60-foot we've ever done is like a 140." I'm like, "I have a time slip that shows a 125." And it shows
that's just like
my
now,
car and your car.
That's just like right now, dude. They can sit there and say that, but no, I know for a fact your car's been faster than that. I ain't seen the time slips.
Well, that's why
but I can look at your car and tell it.
That's why I nicknamed their car Personal Best.
Yeah.
Every time it goes down the track, it's a personal best.
But that's just like here's a kicker here. It's kind of like I wish they could go back to a camera at the big end at the Renegade race. Not talking crap about Logan or them. In the final race, Logan and Al was running.
Yeah.
If you look at the one video that I've seen on the side view, I don't know because it's the top end. But Logan's behind because he popped that wheelie.
Yeah.
Logan was behind. How in the world? Because if you look at the video from very far back, it still looks like Logan's behind. That's why I said I want to see a top end video. Don't get me wrong, Logan they've got their stuff down packed.
They have.
They've got it down packed. They're good at what they do.
Although it is really fun. They just put front suspension on it, adjustable
and
front
they're fighting
shocks,
it.
And they're fighting it. But it's so funny because I have to talk Brian down all the time because he's like, "Well, we made this change and the car didn't instantly go faster, so I'm going to change it back." And I'm like, "No, Brian. Like you have to work with it. You gotta."
That's just like us. The first year racing Warlock, we had QA1 double adjustables on the back. Well, everybody was always talking about Minsters. Well, he's changing his car over. I got his Minster shots that were on the back of it.
Yeah.
And since then, we're still fighting the chassis just like we were last year. I mean, it's throwing the back end up so fast. I mean, I'm having to tighten the mess out of the back end to get it.
Slow that down a little bit.
Yeah, well, the thing about it was last year we only had videos of the driver's side. So we always went off of what the driver's side looked like. Well, this past weekend I had a couple people helping me because that Thursday, my papa here, he had a procedure done to his heart, and he wasn't gonna be able to do a lot that weekend. But he told me we were going out there because we needed some testing before we went to the opening race for the 252. So I had some people there with me, and my mom was filming on the driver's side, and Willie, he was on the passenger side. And my mom's video, you could see the car separated massively. On Willie's, it was very slow. Well, at the time after my first pass, my mom, she was still up there filming other people. So all I had to go off of was Willie's. And the car, it went out, and it carried a wheelie, and I was going toward the center, so I had to pedal it and get back over and get back in it. So I had to make a chassis adjustment based off of that video. So what we tried to do was make the back end, loosen the back end to go ahead and get it to throw up, throw the back end up to push the front end down.
Yep.
And as you saw in the picture I showed you earlier, it didn't work. It stood up even harder. And after that pass there, that's when I got a video shown from the driver's side. Yeah. And I've got, matter of fact, on my last pass, somebody took a video from dead behind the car. And you could see when the car left, the driver's side would shoot up like this, and then the passenger side would come up.
Might be time for some travel sensors.
Well, no. What it was obviously, when a car comes up, it's going to torque your car.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what it's going to do.
Yeah.
But I did take my anti-roll bar off, and it was a little twisted. I could sit there and put it on a flat surface and kind of rock it. I got that fixed. As a matter of fact, that's what we were putting on last night. So we were hoping that we were running this weekend.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, we're not, so I have to wait until next weekend.
A little too low, and it would hurt.
Yeah.
Spectator and a couple other things.
Which, I mean, don't get me wrong. Yes, don't nobody want to go out there in the cold.
No.
But don't nobody want to go out there in hot weather either.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, me personally, I don't want to be in a car at 90-some degree weather.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I'd rather be in the car when it's cold because my suit's keeping me warm.
You want to do a fun one? Try going to Streetcar Takeover in Charlotte because it's in July.
Ooh, you got that.
Yeah.
I remember when I went to Kinston in July, and I was sweating.
Yeah.
Because we were. That's the year that we were still learning the car.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, anytime we were able to test, we went somewhere to test, no matter where it was at, and Kinston was the main one that we went to.
Yeah.
There was a car at Piedmont. It was a Mustang hatch, and they had I didn't see how they had it hooked to the back of the car, but they had a trailer hooked to the back of the race car.
Yep.
And they had a air conditioner and a generator on the trailer with a air duct run from the air conditioner in the car on the drive.
Sounds like a drag and drive car. Those guys are crazy.
Either that or it sounds like that man was smart and wanted to stay cool while he was waiting. He had somebody to unhook the trailer.
I don't know. Those little Milwaukee fan things you can get that, those
Yeah, well, he in his old car, he used to mount a fan up there and had it running off a separate battery, so he'd just go up there and flip a switch and it would blow on him while he was, mainly because of his glasses. He would be in the car and his glasses would fog out. He'd turn the fan on and undo the fog.
Yeah.
But if you are wondering, this is where I got the wheelies from because he loved the wheelie back in his day.
Yeah. I think it comes from both sides of your family because your other grandpa also likes to do a lot of wheelies too.
That is true. But
you do know wheelies aren't faster, right?
Yes, I know.
I
know that, but it looks good.
It looks good.
It's
slower.
I still won my races when I will stand. Besides the one in Outer Banks against Anthony.
Yeah, I got my one wheelie picture this year where she just pulled the wheel maybe that much. And I'm like, I'm good. I don't need to.
I don't need to do that
I don't need to do it anymore.
But that's just. I mean, it's fun. It's fun when you wheel stand. I mean, it's different.
Yeah,
it feels different, but it's. I mean, you can ask Willie. I mean, he did a lot of wheel stands, but that's mainly because of son.
It's because he's driving a Blazer. It's got a high center of gravity, and the wheelbase is super short.
Well, yes, but his son was also on the laptop.
Yeah, putting a 600 shot of nitrous. Yeah.
That Blazer it's interesting to work on. I'll put it that way. Trying to keep the front end down. We've got it figured out toward the end, and then when it comes to the Keen race, because his shakedown pass, it stayed down with A to B. First round comes around, and he rides Willie out to like 180 foot.
Willie is a crazy guy. I loved having him on the other week. So
he is a trip.
Yeah, he is a trip. We're gonna have to have him back at some point.
Definitely. Maybe then Blake would be more open.
Yeah, probably what we need to do is get him on, Chris Pittman on. And
if you put Chris Pittman up here, he's gonna take over the show.
Well, yeah, we're gonna give him his own episode.
Okay.
We're just gonna call it the Chris Pittman podcast.
Okay.
I'm just trying to.
That's gonna be more of him asking you questions than you asking him.
I'm just trying to think what is who's another really good shit talker. Get three of them on here. I won't even have to do anything.
I mean, if you want to talk about shit talker, I would say put Shannon Young up here.
There we go. We'll get Willie, Shannon Young, and Chris Pittman.
Shannon and Willie, it's gonna be a good one.
Yeah. I'm trying to get. I sent Shannon a message the other day to get on. He never even looked at it. So I'm gonna try and get him on the podcast soon. Along with a couple other guys. We're having a lot of fun doing this. We're gonna wrap this up.
I did hear a rumor though.
What?
If you reached a certain amount of viewers, you were gonna do like a live feed at a track.
Yeah. If we hit 1,000 subscribers, we'll probably do like a live recording at the track or something like that. Right now we're at 50. So it's 950 to go.
Now, is there a deadline on this?
I don't have a deadline on it.
Okay.
It's going to slowly build and stuff like that. The best thing that people can do is hit the like button, share it, to your social medias, and comment on it. Especially commenting actually helps the YouTube algorithm send it out to people.
Yeah, you understand, man. That there's just like out in one ear, out the other for me.
Yeah.
I don't mess with that kind of stuff.
Basically, the way that YouTube looks at it is like when I initially send it out, they'll send it out to everyone that's subscribed, obviously. But then farther reach than that, it depends on how many people are actually interacting with the video. And so if there's no comments on it at all and hardly anybody's liking it, it's not going to get sent out to anybody else to just see it and click on it. So.
But yeah, that's just
all the
like
stuff we
him.
gotta
He
work
leaves me. He leaves me to all the computer work. He'll do the maintenance, but I gotta do the computer work.
Don't you love when you show up and he like hands you his phone and he goes, fix it?
Yes, that happens a lot. I won't even be at the house, and he'll send me a screenshot of what in the world's going on his phone. He's like, what do I do here? I'm like, well, what's it on? Like, what app are you on?
Yeah.
That's like he.
Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
That's just like we were in
works.
Jacksonville. Yeah, but that's just like I was in Jacksonville Friday night. They come down Saturday because he just got out the hospital on Friday morning. He sent me a message saying that he get blocked out of or kicked out of the 252 reject group chat.
I love that chat.
Oh yes, it's interesting chat. And I looked, I was like, "Nah, you didn't get locked. You didn't get kicked out or nothing." And he sent me a picture of what was showing, and I was like, "Pops, just hit the renew later, and it'll disappear, and then all your chats will pop up." I was gonna show it to him Saturday, but when he got there Saturday, he'd already figured it out.
Yeah, yeah. No, I don't know. The last couple of days, that group chat has been on fire.
Yes, it was.
And
it really blew up when Blake put that heart emoji in there.
Yeah, but probably the most entertaining thing. So we talked about in last week's podcast. Willie and I were like, we're going to add David Braxton back to it, and every time he tries to leave, we're just going to add him back on. I think he's tried to leave like 6 times since we did that.
It's not working for him.
I think he's gone for some total of 30 seconds every time. Like Willie is on it. He might have like a notification turned on his phone. Just if anybody leaves, just let him know.
He's got something on that phone, that's for sure.
Every time David leaves, right back in
there. You are not leaving.
Yeah.
You think he'll learn?
Yeah. Well, he hasn't tried to leave in at least a day, so
I'm surprised, because when he put in the group chat the other day that he was going to leave, I said, do it. I said, you just don't get added back. He didn't do it, but
go ahead and try. Yeah.
Well, you can try, but it's like it's to the point now where like why leave when you don't get added back? Just stay in it.
Yeah.
Because you can go in there and just cut notifications off.
Yeah.
Where you don't get them at all.
Yeah. Yeah, he could do that, Although I think if he did that, Willie would probably kick him out of the group chat.
Probably.
And then add him back to it, so it undid that setting.
That sounds like Willie,
Yeah.
Willie would do some things if he starts getting some alcohol in him. Trust me.
Oh, dude.
If he starts getting 1, 2, maybe 3 beers in him, it's a trip.
Yeah.
That's just like obviously I saw the one with Willie here. He was talking about his little girl does cheer and everything.
Yep.
This past cheer when we were there, people got mad at us for it, but we didn't care because the girls they loved it when we were doing it. Especially he had like 3 beers. I mean, nothing major.
Yeah, just getting started.
But she stopped after that, because it's his little girl's competition. But every time he would say something, me and Blake would have to yell out "Youth Queens," because that's what their thing is called, is Youth Queens.
Yeah.
And if we didn't yell it, one of us was getting hit. So Willie done it one time. This is the kicker here. Willie done it one time, and I said it, but Blake didn't, and Willie popped Blake in between the legs. And from that point on, the little girl saw it.
Yeah.
From that point on, when Willie would say something and Blake didn't say it, the little girl would stand up and say, "He didn't say it," and just start pointing at him. So that way Willie would go over there and hit him,
Pop him. Oh man,
it was a good. It was a fun time. Unfortunately, Willie's on his own coming up out there with the cheer squad because they had to head to Georgia.
Yeah.
And somebody's got to stay back and watch his house, and I've got to watch their kid for him, so that way he don't do anything stupid.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he's on his own. I told him, I said, if you want, just get a big old speaker and just call us, and we'll just yell it out on the speaker.
and if Blaine forgets, I'll just reach over and whack him.
Yeah, if he forgets, I'll just pop him in the face.
There you go.
Or something.
There
Wherever he wants me to hit him.
Yeah.
I mean.
All right, gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up there.
All right.
Thank you very much for coming on. Definitely. I feel like there's probably a lot more stories we could get into, but
yeah.
So we'll definitely.
You just wait until Troy comes. You talking about stories now? Wait until he'll bring up some stories now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Blaney, thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you for
Cameron,
having me.
thank you very much for coming on.
Appreciate
Where can they
you having
follow?
us.
Where can they follow you guys?
You can either follow me under my Facebook. I haven't started it yet, but I am gonna start a Facebook page called Warlock Racing. Me and my mom, we've been working on it, trying to figure out exactly how we want to do it.
Mhm.
But it's going to be called Warlock Racing. I will be getting it on sometime at the end of this weekend or the start of next week.
Okay.
That's where you can follow me at. Or you can go under my mom, Cynthia Braxton. She's all the time posting videos and pictures of the car up there.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
Yeah. That's how she is. My pops, everybody knows him. If you don't know him, there's a problem.
I did get on her that one time that first year. She posted a whole bunch of pictures of the 590 group.
But didn't post you.
But she'd include my car, and she'd tag everybody but me. And I'm like,
oh yeah.
what did I do?
That was the same year that you were complaining about Ernie and all them not putting any pictures of your car out there.
At every event, it's like, a million pictures of Scamp and Justin's car. And
That's because it's an old classic, man. Everybody sees y'all style cars nowadays.
Yeah, but everyone else figured those were the only two cars in the class because there was not a single picture of any of the other cars in the class.
Well, maybe they should have been there. They would have known.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen.
Or maybe you should have been winning more.
I was doing my best. All right, guys, we're going to end it there. As always, make sure you hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. And I'm Nate, the Fast Plumber on Instagram. And, guys, until next time, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.